Um, Hello guys. This is our second to the last topic. So we discuss this because some of the items will be coming from this topic. No? So only to ang miscellaneous group. So you have Haemophilus, Hasa, Legionella, other fastidious gram-negative bacilli. Okay, so our HASEC, Haemophilus, and other groups of organisms included in this topic are members of the family Pastoralaceae. Okay, so they would include, for this family, Haemophilus, Actinobacillus, Pastorella, and Aggregatibacter. Okay, HASEC is actually a mnemonic for Haemophilus, Aggregatibacter, Cardibacterium, Echinella, and Quinella. So these are the most common agents of uh, endocarditis, and they're mostly normal microbiota of our human oral cavity as well as in the nasopharynx. Okay? Another member of the miscellaneous group is Capnocytophaga, which is also found in human oral cavity. There are about 5 species, and there are also species of Capnocytophaga that are found in dogs and cats. Okay, now under uh, Pastoralaceae, we have zoonotic bacteria like Pastorella, Brucella, and Francisella, and they will be also discussed here. So, so to begin, let's have Haemophilus species. So, based on what we have covered in your bacteriology, no, previously, so these are gram-negative pleomorphic organisms, Coccobacillary shape, uh, usually in direct snares, or if the specimen, if the inoculum rather came directly from the specimen, so Coccobacillary siya. But if your inoculum for smoothing would come from the colonies, ilang morphology is long filaments. Again, if you're going to make smears and your inoculum is from the sample or the specimen mismo, their morphology is Coccobacillary. But if you're going to make smears and your inoculum for smearing will come from colonies, their morphology is long filamentous. Again, they are non-motile. There are about 8 species, okay? Pero the most commonly isolated in human samples is your Haemophilus influenzae, Ducreyi, and Egyptius. Okay? Ang atong Haemophilus species is most commonly an agent of nosocomial infection. Okay? Very commonly seen in our in the mucous membranes of our upper respiratory tract. Okay? So Haemophilus, the etymology of the word actually is in Greek, which means blood lover. Okay? So these are organisms that would require the X and the V factors similar to your gram-negative foci gonorrhea. Okay? They do not grow well in sheep's blood agar because it would inactivate something in sheep's blood agar would inactivate the V factor. Okay? So pwede sigurong blood agar but not sheep's blood. Okay? Pero they would prefer to grow in chocolate agar plate, or they would grow well or better in top than in back. Okay. Now, there are also cases where we can observe satellitism, or there are growth of this organism alongside colonies of Orius, Sow, Pneumococus, or Neisseria species. Mustabay will Haemophilus, although they would appear smaller than the colonies of Sao, Pneumococus, and Neisseria. Okay? So, satellitism ng tawag doon, nakikisabay sila. No, nagiging parang mga satellite yung colonies ng Haemophilus. Pag present ay yung tatlong organism. That is because these organisms are capable of producing the V factor, which is one of the two important growth requirements for your Haemophilus. So of course, your Haemophilus again has three clinically significant species, no? And one of these is Haemophilus influenzae, which is also known as your Pfeiffer's bacillus. So sa kanilang tatlo or sa eight, no, eight species, your Haemophilus influenzae is of course considered a major pathogen because of its virulence properties. So what are the virulence properties? That will include the capsule, okay? Pero ang pinaka-importante, daghan siya, ano, no, antigenic types for the capsule, A, B, C, D, E, F. Pero ang pinaka-common na ma-isolate is the type D. Okay, mo ng natin HIV or HIV. Okay, so kasi si Haemophilus influenzae type D ang pinaka-common and pinaka-invasive na uh, species, no, or strain of your Haemophilus influenzae. Okay? That is because of the special polyribitol phosphate capsule found in type B. Okay? Now, hindi lahat ng strains ng Haemophilus influenzae is encapsulated. Okay? So, natin itong mga non-typeable, itong mga walay klase ng capsule. So, di sila na-type. Okay? Uh, Apart from the capsule, they have IgA proteases. You know what this means? No? They're able to break down IgA, which is primarily common in mucous membranes, no? Mga body fluids, yeah. And they are able to colonize because of the capacity to adhere to structures, and then because of their fungi also. And they have outer membrane proteins, and of course, because they're gram-negative, they have lipopolysaccharide. So I believe you have this table already in your previous notes, no, or in your trances. So this table would simply show the types of clinical manifestations of Haemophilus influenzae for encapsulated and encapsulated strain. Similarly, this table is also called the chances. So this will show you the differences in tests, you know, that test reactions that are presented by the eight biotypes of Haemophilus influenzae. So this will help us differentiate them based on their biochemical reactions and types of infections caused. So other Haemophilus species, you have your Aegyptius and Leucaena, remember? So this is the other two of the three clinically significant species. So Aegyptius is also known as the Cochlea's bacillus and causes sore eyes or yung tinatawag natin pink eye disease. Okay? And then si Leucaena, which is a strictly human pathogen ng drug, is a sexually transmitted agent, disease of sexually transmitted infection called chancroid or soft chancre to differentiate it from the hard chancre that we can find in the primary stage or primary phase of syphilis. Okay? So soft chancre or chancroid pod ang Leucaena. So it's a highly communicable sexually transmitted type of infection, which is characterized by the presence of ulcerations or ulcerated lesions sa genitalia. Okay? Pero sometimes infections like HIV, syphilis, and herpes virus may also show the same type of ulceration. So, kailangan dyan ka mag-test for this. Although kanin kay siyang pero medyo dako siya nga lesion or ulceration. Si herpes, gagmay pero daghan. Si syphilis, katong pareho jud niya kay isa lang tapos malaki. Si HIV, paano din siya non-specific, no? Sa dagko, sa dagmay. So, just to be clear and to rule out uh, infections, so we test talaga, no? We do culture or microscopic evaluation through gram staining para ma-differentiate natin sila. Okay, so apart from Egyptians and Leucaena, there are other members of the group, like the Haemophilus influenzae by group Egyptius, which can also cause conjunctivitis in children, and Brazilian purple fever. And then we have the parainfluenzae and parahemolyticus. So parahemolyticus is an agent of pharyngitis, while parainfluenzae naman can cause sinusitis, otitis media, o busipon, ganyan, and rarely endocarditis. Okay, so what do we do in the laboratory? So for the sample, syempre, ang specimen na gamitin would depend on kasi manifestation, no? So pwedeng blood, kung wala naman siyang mga lesions, ganyan. So you can gather blood. If there's sign na merong meningitis, which is common in Haemophilus influenzae. So you can gather CSF or kung may otitis media, so you can collect yung kanyang ear exudate, joint fluids, and all those listed here. Remember, your Haemophilus is sensitive to temperature and prolonged standing. So kinahanglan siya i-transport immediately, do not refrigerate, okay? And then inoculate, no, agad. And then make sure to follow the proper temperature for incubation. They would, again, best grow on cap rather than BAP or SBA. Incubation at 33 to 70 degrees Celsius. Their capnophiles, so they would require about 5 to 10% carbon dioxide. For respiratory samples, take note to supplement it with bacitracin, 300 milligrams, para ma-isolate natin yung mga contaminants. Kaya ang dami natin pwedeng maging ma-isolate when we use respiratory samples like say sputum, for example, daghan pwede mutubo, dili lang your Haemophilus. So sa high, sa sensitive Haemophilus, malumos siya, no? Ma-overtake ka ng mga ibang infectious agents present in the sample. Okay. Si Dupree, on the other hand, is perfectly grown on, should be perfectly grown on enriched cap, or we have a special culture media, the Nairobi biplate, which is actually a GC agar base. Okay. That would contain around 2% of bovine hemoglobin as well as 5% fetal calf serum. Pwede rin namang Wheeler-Hinton agar with 5% chocolate agar plate, tapos horse blood. Okay? And then, specifically, both should contain around 3 milligrams per liter of vancomycin. Again, to be selective. Okay? Maraming pwedeng tumubo na organisms. Okay? And then, for Egyptius and rich cap with 1% isovital-X or Vitox, syempre for our X and B factor. No? And then, wag masyadong ma-excited, medyo matagal tumubo si Egyptian. So, a lot around 4 days incubation prior to checking colonies. So, of course, for colony morphology, your Haemophilus influenzae as well as Egyptius usually present translucent and moist, smooth, convex colonies with a characteristic bleach-like odor, or in some references, it is described as mousy. Ano ba ganun? Amoy daga. Okay, mousy, pero bleach-like. No, that's the most common description. Okay. Now, if encapsulated strings are present, the colonies usually are larger and more liquidal. Okay. Pag ano siya, yung mga non-typable, uh, smooth or slightly dry ang colonies niya. Now, remember, do not grow your your Haemophilus on mat. Okay? They don't grow on them. They may grow on SBA provided na nandun yung ang natin, known organism yung sila sow, right? Pneumococcal para ma-provide yung NAD. Okay? And then expect saprophytism to be observed. Okay? For parahemolyticus, they appear to be beta hemolytic on horse or rabbit blood agar. So microscopically, of course, yung itsura nila, no, gram-negative Coccobacilli, medyo maliliit. Okay? Faint pink. So Coccobacilli if galing sa specimen, and long filament if galing sa colonies. Okay? And then si Ducreyi, so when gram stained, they appear like full of red fish or railroad tracks or fingerprints, gaya niyan. Okay? And then they're pale staining. And so this is an example of the chancre. Other tests, aside from your microscopic and cold colony characteristics, remember also to do porphyrin tests, the oxidase, catarase, biochemical tests, of course. You can also do beta lactamase identification. But currently, of course, we have automated commercial systems. So, pwede na siyang pwede na tayo mag-MALDI-TOEFL of MS nito. Okay? Uh, of course, pwede pa rin mag-perform ng XMB growth factor test. Okay? So, if you're going to do that, use impregnated strips or discs. Okay? Remember not to use X factor containing medium to prevent erroneous results. Okay? Kasi minsan, your influenza may be mistaken as para influenza. No? So, uh, care should be taken. Okay? So, your Haemophilus influenzae do not require heme when grown anaerobically, but still they would require an AD. So, kailangan pa rin yung D factor, okay, for your Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, so for the XMD factor test, ganito yung magiging resulta niya. No? So they can be grown on MSA or TSA. Okay? So your Haemophilus influenzae will grow around XV disc only. Ito lang kasi kailangan niya both. Okay? While Haemophilus parainfluenzae will grow around the V disc and around the XV disc. Si Ducrane naman will go around the X disc and around the XV disc. Okay? For hemolysis, the Haemophilus influenzae will grow on the portion with XV factor but will not show hemolysis. Okay? Si Haemophilus hemolyticus will grow also around the XV area or on the XV area with hemolysis. Si Haemophilus parainfluenzae will grow on the media with the B factor but will not show hemolysis, whereas the Haemophilus parahemolyticus will show will grow on the area with the B factor and will show hemolysis. Okay? Whereas Duprei will grow the X um, on the media with the X factor and also will not show hemolysis. Okay? So, may hemolysis lang si Haemophilus hemolyticus and Haemophilus parahemolyticus. Okay, so another test used to differentiate your Haemophilus species is the ALA porphyrin test. Okay, so what is this test? This test is used for rapidly detecting porphyrin as a means of speciating Haemophilus species. So yung mga enzymes that can convert ALA, okay, or your delta amino levulinic acid to porphyrins or porphobilinogen to synthesize hemin or the X factor is usually produced by Haemophilus parainfluenzae. So kanigid siya is a test used for parainfluenzae. Haemophilus parainfluenzae. So negative dito si Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, so the positive result is usually seen after addition of your COVAX agent and then viewing the results under your UV light or Woods lamp, 360 nanometers. So the expected color reaction is reddish orange. Sama aning makita natin dito sa picture. So again, this is positive only for your Haemophilus parainfluenzae. Okay, so again, this table I think is included also in your trances. So this one is a table that shows you the differences between the species of Haemophilus, okay, showing the different biochemical tests that can be used to separate one species from the other. Okay, so another table here. This one shows us the summary of the key actions and characteristics of the HACCP group as well as the Captocytophaga species. No? So, very itong table na to, simplified. So, dali na lang siya. Subtone, okay, memorize. Okay, so up next is Bordetella, which has two primary pathogens. They affect our respiratory tract. No? So we have Bordetella pertussis, which is of course the agent of whooping cough. and Bordetella parapertussis, which is the agent of a milder form of whooping cough. Now, apart from these two na-applying species for C. bordetella, which is Bordetella bronchiceptica and Holmesii, which are opportunistic human pathogens, so mostly seen in immune-compromised patients. No? It may present as agents of respiratory or wound infections. Okay? Pwede rin itong maging agents of animal infections, okay? Dogs, birds, and other mammals. Now, Bordetella pertussis, as well as even Bordetella parapertussis, are able to cause the infection whooping cough because of their virulence factors, which would include the following. So, they are able to produce the filamentous agglutinin, or FHA, as well as pertactin, which is found in the outer membrane of the organism. Okay, so its function is for attachment to our ciliated epithelial cells sa upper respiratory tract natin. Okay? Now, apart from that, they can produce the pertussis toxin, which is a protein exotoxin. It could modify host proteins, by uh, touching the adenosine diphosphate ribosyl transferase. Okay? Um, Again, this is responsible for lymphocytosis. Then the adenosine cyclase toxin, which is specially uh, released by Bordetella pertussis. This one is able to inhibit host epithelial and immune effector cells by inducing supraphysiologic concentrations of cyclic AMP. So alam na natin kung ano ang reaction or resulta pag nandun yung cyclic AMP sa ating mga fluid and electrolytes. Okay? And then we have tracheal cytotoxin. Okay, so tracheal cytotoxin is responsible for ciliostenosis. Mao ni siya ang rason nga no, murag hubakon ang pasyente, no? So this causes the severe damage in our ciliated epithelium, no? Ang nangyayari is parang ma-deform, no? Ma-deform yung ating ciliated epithelium. So, yun pa naman yung importanteng parang walis, no? Para maiakyat yung mucus na dumidikit sa ating epithelium. So, kung madamage sila, pilit kayo atong mucus mo na maningkamot gud ang pasyente na muubo para taktak ang gawas ang plema. Okay? So, tracheal cytotoxin again is responsible for damage to ciliated cells, damage to DNA synthesis, as well as promotes cell death. Okay? And then, to top that, meron din silang dermonecrotic toxin, which causes inflammation, tissue destruction, and in some cases, necrosis. Okay? So, apart from this, so meron silang 1, 2, 3, 4 toxins. Okay? Pertussis toxin, adenosine cyclase toxin, tracheal toxin, dermonecrotic toxin, FHA, and then they may have capsules. They are able to release stable endotoxin, lipopolysaccharide, and hemolysins to add. So, pertussis is the clinical term for the infection caused by Bordetella pertussis, to which humans are the only natural host. There are three stages to this. We have the Caterhall stage, which is characterized by mild coughing and sneezing, may sipon din, no? And then, during this phase, the patient is highly infectious. Pero hindi pa din siya masakit to, no? However, pag cross over siya to the next phase, which is the paroxysmal phase, this is already characterized by explosive coughing, na merong inspiratory whoosh, which is the hallmark na parang mag-TV pagkatapos ng ending nyo ay marag-TV nyo na ay tubak ang combination. Okay? So, daghag mucus na mupilit sa ato ang throat, no, or airways. And then kasi nga damage na yung mga ciliated cells, so nahihirapan tayong i-release ang mucus. Okay? And then, of course, after that, pag naagapan, there will be convalescence, you know? So, coughing episodes slowly decrease. And so, especially if mabilis ito, especially if my attention has been given to the previous stages or phases of the infection. However, there are cases where on the paroxysmal stage, pwedeng magkaroon ng hypoxia dahil sa sunod-sunod na pag-ubo. Okay? Naubusan ng hangin yung pasyente. So this may lead to seizure, okay, hypoxic encephalopathy, or worse, comatose. And small infants may sometimes end with broken ribs, no? Yung mga newborn, naging pertussis, okay, or whooping cough. So of course, the sample for laboratory diagnosis of Bordetella is respiratory specimens. You can go with nasopharyngeal aspirates or swab. You know, transport media is recommended to be casamino acid, okay, or should contain casamino acid. We could do, you could use amy's with charcoal, okay? And then some of the recommended culture media for Bordetella especially are the Bordegengo potato infusion agar, which would contain glycerol, phorus, or sheep's blood. The Regan low, medium, which contains charcoal, starch, phorus, blood, cephalexin, and amphotericin B, which would make it selective, syempre. And then the Stainer Salt medium, which contains casamino acids, cyclodextrin, and cephalexin. Again, these are highly selective media to selectively remove, you know, contaminating agents which may be found in respiratory samples. Okay, so on this medium, our Bordetella pertussis are described to be able to produce colonies that would resemble mercury droplets. Ayun. So another table here to differentiate species of Bordetella. So we have here pertussis, parapertussis, and bronchitis septica, and different characteristics to differentiate them. Okay, so third stop natin is Brucella, which is a zoonotic organism. Okay, so it's the agent of brucellosis, commonly affecting cloven-hoofed animals like your goats, so sila. So there are four species to Brucella. We have Melitensis, which infects goats and sheep. It's also considered to be the most virulent and invasive. We have Brucella suis for swine, Brucella canis for dogs, and Brucella abortus for cattle. Okay. Now, Brucella abortus is also known as Banks bacillus, or agent of Banks disease. Ayan. Now, Brucella abortus is said to have a very strong affinity for fetal bovine tissue called erythritol. So, mao ng abortus because it is known to cause abortion kay ang gusto niya katong fetal bovine tissue na erythritol. Okay? Now, there are two rare species also identified. We have D. ovis for sheep and D. neotome for wood rats. Okay? Now, there's only one species in the genus, so Brucella melitensis, and there are several biovars. So, katong uban biovars na sila. Okay? So CDC classifies Brucella as B, no, category B, biologic agents, easy to disseminate and cause moderate morbidity but low mortality. So dili siya nga dali maka-cause of death but may be easily spread. Okay, so category D, si Brucella. For humans, the infection caused by this group is called brucellosis, which is characterized by undulant fever or pag sinabing ambulant fever, parang up and down, then. So, the most common areas affected are Malta, Crimean, and Mediterranean. Okay? So, ang mga sakit, so, Malta fever, Crimean fever, Mediterranean fevers. Ayun. Also, it can become an occupational hazard for people working with animals. So, again, Brucella is the agent of the infection called brucellosis. And how do we acquire the infection? Aerosolization, so droplet infection. Siguro kung watching ang inyong pet goat. So may mga droplet yon tapos nandun kayo nakangangan. Oh. o malapit kayo masyado, so you can inhale yung kanilang contaminated droplet. So oral routes are also possible, like pag kumain or uminom ng unpasteurized cheese and milk. Okay? Now, there are stages to brucellosis for human infection. So may acute, subacute, and chronic forms. Now, during the acute stage of brucellosis, the most characteristic sign is arthralgia, no? Or myalgia, sakit-sakit sa lawas. Okay? And then subchronic, there's undulant fever. Okay? So wala naman nakikita ibang sign pero may undulant fever. Now, in some cases, meron ding arthritis. Okay? For males, merong epididymoorchitis, sakit ang itlog. And then the chronic form of this infection may include depression and chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, so how can brucella cause this? It's because of their virulence factors. Okay, so they have the ability to grow inside cells. No? So they are facultative intracellular organisms. That's because they can inhibit fusion of the phagolysosome. Okay? They have lipopolysaccharide, of course, and then they have several antigens, no? The A antigen and the M antigen. Okay? To differentiate, B abortus is known to have a higher concentration of A antigens over the M antigens, while B melitensis have a higher concentration of M antigens over A antigens. Dali lang, no? So pag B abortus, A antigens. B melitensis, M antigens. So again, there are four known agents under Brucella. They are mostly similar in their morphology. So short, gram-negative fucobacillary forms, aerobic, non-motile, non-encapsulated. Okay, they grow in ambient air except for abortus, which is capnophilic and would require 5 to 10% carbon dioxide. But they're all catalase, urease, and oxidase positives and are able to produce hydrogen sulfide and are able to reduce nitrates to nitrites. Okay, now one way to differentiate them is in the diseases they cause. So melitensis is more acute and able to cause severe diseases. Abortus cause mild diseases, no suppuration, no caseation of granulomas, canis, mild diseases, while suis is known to cause chronic and suppurative lesions with caseating granulomas. So, opposite si suis and si abortus. Si abortus, mild, no suppuration, no caseation of granulomas, whereas si suis, chronic, tapos may suppuration, tapos yung kanyang granulomas is caseating, meaning nagkakaroon ng cheese-like necrosis, murag na lata ang itsura. So what do we do in the laboratory? For brucella, again, specimen to be handled may depend on the clinical manifestations. You can do blood, you can do bone marrow, biopsy, tissues, no? Serum for serological testing. Okay, now remember, they are supposed to be handled under BSL-3 laboratory, no? BSL-3 by City Level 3 laboratory, ang ating brucella. They grow on SBA, CAP, MTM, your modified Pierre Martin or Martin Lewis. Okay. Okay. They grow easily with 5 to 10% carbon dioxide. So, similar to you're gonna focus on kanilang growth characteristics. So, same na mga social media pwedeng gamitin. Okay? You can do PCR, no? To identify biovars. Culture media, Brucella agar, Castaneda medium. You can do you can use the biphasic blood culture media if you recall. Katong culture bottles na nanay solid and liquid media inside. And then of course, you can do the hydrogen sulfide, thymine and basic fixing dye inhibition, and agglutination by anti-sera. Okay. for our Brucella. And so another table, no, to show you to help you differentiate Brucella species. So here, in this table, ang dali namang sundan, di ba? So yung apat na species, their natural host, their serum reaction. So all are positive except for canis for serum agglutination. For hydrogen sulfide or lead acetate test, only abortus and suis are positive hydrogen sulfide reduction, melitensis and canis is negative. For urease, uh, all except melitensis are able to produce urease. Si melitensis variable, sometimes wala, sometimes na. Okay, and then of course, inhibition of growth in dyes using thionin and fuchsin. Yung dalawang dye na gagamitin, ayan, nandito sa baba. Right, so your melitensis is the growth rather is not inhibited by thionin and trypsin. Okay, so metubo. Okay, again, the negative here meaning may tubo pa rin. Hindi siya inhibited by thionin and trypsin. Yun yung ibig sabihin ha. Inhibition or napigilan yung growth. So, pag negative, ibig sabihin hindi napigilan yung growth, edi may tubo. Okay? So, whether may thionin or trypsin, matubo siya. So, negative inhibition. Si abortus naman is positive, no? Inhibition in thionin, no inhibition in trypsin. For suis and canis, both are not inhibited by thionin, but both are inhibited by trypsin. Yun ha, dili malibog. Ang pasabot ani is inhibition, ma-inhibit ba ni thionin and trypsin ang growth nila or not? Okay, next we have Francisella. So Francisella is another zoonotic agent, which is the agent of tularemia, no? Also known as rabbit fever, deerfly fever, lemon fever, water rat trappers disease, etc. Mode of transmission is in ingestion or most commonly arthropod bite, tick bite, no? Or fly bite, may mga ganun. Okay, and contact with infected animal tissue. Now, there are 8 known species of Francisella, pero Francisella tularensis is usually the most commonly implicated species in human infections. So, there are 4 subspecies for tularensis. We have subspecies tularensis or type A, which causes the most severe diseases in humans. We have subspecies Holarctica type B, rarely a fatal form, rarely causes fatal forms of diseases. We have subspecies mediasiatica, poorly studied, but has been isolated in Central Asia and Russia. And then subspecies Levicida, which is present in North America, Australia, Southeast Asia, and almost virulent in humans. Okay. Yan sila yung apat na subspecies ng tularensis. Okay? So, ang symptom sa tao is similar to plague, merong lymph node involvement. So, kung saan malapit yung kagat o yung portal of entry, eh di nandun malapit na, yung lymph node malapit doon ang swollen. So again, Francisella is the agent of tularemia. There are several forms of the disease, but the most common form is ulceroglandular. What does that mean? May ulceration and then may involvement or swelling or enlargement of the regional lymph node. So, kintahay kani, napaakan siya sa may thumb. So, ang pinakaduol din na lymph node is katong sa ilok na ko. Diba? So, may ulceration sa right side and then namaga ang iyong lymph node. So, yun yung common na form, ulceroglandular. However, there are cases where glandular lang, oculoglandular, oropharyngeal, typhoidal, and pneumonic. Okay? CDC considers this as category A biologic agent. Ano ibig sabihin nun? This is easily disseminated and mataas ang mortality rate. Okay? So kayo na may category B, o ngayon may category A. So kalimutan. So this is a potentially an agent of public health concern, okay? And public panic. Kaya kailangan ay i-report agad if we have cases like this. So what do we do? So ang samples again would depend on the type of specimen na meron, infection rather, or sign and symptoms. So you can do blood, you can do skin scraping, sa ulcer, lymph node biopsy, you can do that, sputum and serum of course. Okay. Microscopy would reveal tiny, non-motile gram-negative Lactobacillus facultatively intracellular parasites. You can culture them on buffer yeast charcoal extract, no? Or BYCE na medium. You can do cap with isovitalex and then MPM. Okay, not recommended ang broth natin. Don't grow them on MAC and EMB even if they're gram negative. They won't grow well on those. So meron tayong mga special media. So you could use blood-sustained glucose agar or BCGA where they're known to produce bluish gray or metallic gray colonies. Okay? So biochemically, your Francisella is oxidase, urease, X and V negative, weakly catalase positive. They may demonstrate beta-lactamase activity and they could ferment glucose, maltose, and mannose. For serology, you could use DFA, no? You could do PCR, okay? And of course, Malditoff, pwede rin. Then lastly, for this lecture video, we have Pastorella. So Pastorella is the agent of pastorellosis. No? Again, it's a zoonotic type of infection. So there are several forms. No? So may systemic pastorellosis, which is characterized by septicemia, endocarditis, osteomyelitis, sometimes meningitis. We also have cutaneous forms or soft tissue infections resulting from bites no, ng animals, usually cat bites. Ayan. So yung may mga pet cats, ingat-ingat. No? Ito yung pinaka-common na cause of pastorellosis bite animal bites. Okay? Kung sa mahitabo sa animal bites, there could be inflammation and actually production. There's cellulitis like what you see in the picture, no? Mamamaga yung bite site. Okay? And then of course, the last site is pneumonic forms. As they have been observed, no? Pwedeng yung respiratory tract naman ang affected. So they are virulent because of the capsules and lipopolysaccharide. The most frequently isolated species of Pastorella is Pastorella multocida. It has three subspecies. So you have your Pastorella multocida, subspecies multocida, subspecies septica, subspecies gallicida. There are 5 serogroups, A, B, C, D, A, B, D, E, F, walang C. Ambot asa ang C. Okay, so A, B, D, E, and F is the most common serogroups based on their capsular antigens. Okay, and there are other species apart from Moltocida, Canis for dogs, Tomatis, and Dagmatis for both dogs and cats. Pero na cases where they could be isolated from humans, pero very rare. No? Ang pinaka-common din sa Moltocida. Note that there are 17 species of Pastorella. Okay? Most things siguro is talagang for animals. So, what are the characteristics of Pastorella? They are, of course, gram-negative, pleomorphic, Coccobacilli, non-motile, and they also have that characteristic bipolar staining giving the safety pin appearance. Recall kung kikin sa itong safety pin appearance sa mga colonies, ng mga organisms na to. Ha? Now, for culture, they would demonstrate non-hemolytic, convex, smooth, or mucoid colonies. Sometimes mushroom odor has been observed or musky odor. Okay. They may also grow narrow green to brown halo colonies if prolonged incubation has been done or umabot ng 48 hours. Okay? They don't grow on MAC even if they are gram negative. Kulangan og nutrient ang MAC. So another table na naman, no? This one of course shows you the differences between species of Pastorella. Now, for other miscellaneous gram-negative rods, no, associated with animals and insects, we have Bartonella. So, see, Bartonella is a gram-negative, also pleomorphic, best stained with Warthin starry silver impregnation stain. There are three species for this. We have Henselae, Quintana, and Basiliformis. Hensley and Quintana are the agents of the cat scratch disease, which is quite common in the US. And then Bacilliformis is uh, able to cause infection with two known stages. Okay. So initial stage of Bacilliformis infection is known as Oroya fever, no? Characterized by infectious anemia, and the eruptive stage, yung final stage is known as verruga peruana, which is characterized by the presence of vascular skin lesions. May mga crops, chicken pox nga daghan, no, nagtubo. Okay, so again, Bacilliformis causes an infection that is characterized by two stages, no, Oroya and then Verruga peruana. Bacilliformis is transmitted by sandflies, no? Or the Lutzomia species. And this infection is quite limited in Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador kasi nandun yung concentration ng uh, sandflies. And then we have Streptobacillus moniliformis, which can colonize the oropharynx of rodents. And so, humans acquire the infection pag mapaakan ka o rodents. Okay, so the Streptobacillus moniliformis is the agent of rat bite fever, okay, or Haverhill fever. So in cultures, they are characteristically described to form L forms or L-shaped uh, tawag nito, rods. Okay? Colonies that are also fried egg-like. Okay? Circular, convex, gray, smooth, glistening fried egg, usually in 5 days. Okay? In liquid media, their colonies are described as cotton ball or breadcrumb-like. Okay? And then, to differentiate, si Spirillum minor can also cause rat bite fever. Pero si Spirillum minor is di ba yung spirilla, oh, curved rods. Okay? And then, syempre, we have Legionella pneumophila. So, primarily, this is the agent of Legionnaire's disease, which is an atypical form of pneumonia. And humans acquire it because of aerosolization of bacteria from mechanical cooling devices, like cooling towers, air conditioned units. Okay. So, Legionella pneumophila serogroup 1 accounts for most of the Legionnaire's disease that has been recorded. Okay? So, ang kwento niyan, ayan, no? So, naging agent ng a special type of pneumonia found in delegates, no, Legionnaires sa Philadelphia noong 1976. Out of 221 delegates that has developed pneumonia, about 34 of them died. Maybe because when the mga underlying conditions yung delegates na yun, kaya namatay. So Legionella has about 60 species identified and 70 serogroups. No? 25 species have been isolated from humans. Okay, and then we have, apart from legionellosis, there's a much milder infection similar to this, known as the Pontiac fever, So this is caused also by Legionella pneumophila, serogroups 1 and 6. No? Flu-like ang kanyang characteristics. So your Legionella is virulent because it is able to survive intracellularly within macrophages, spread cell to cell, and may secrete proteolytic enzymes. So, of course, because your Legionella can cause respiratory forms of infection, therefore our samples for analysis would be respiratory sample, pwedeng sputum, no? And like when we do acid fast staining, sometimes the sputum, the mucus may mask the organism, and so there might be a need to do digestion and concentration assays first before proceeding with the analysis. So, pwede rin tayong gumamit ng 0.2 and potassium chloride hydrochloric acid na pang-decontaminate ng ating samples, no, para matanggal yung mga sagabal. Okay? So, microscopically, they appear to be weakly staining, but they are gram-negative rods. Okay? Extending safranin counter staining for at least 10 minutes might intensify stain reaction, and so we can do that. Okay? And then what else? You can do culture, which is the most important test. No? And then pwede namang mag-urine antigen detection test, which is a rapid form of assay. So since culture is very important for the identification of Legionella, so usay pwede gamiton, do not grow them on SBA. They would require L-cysteine for growth. Okay? We can also grow them on buffered charcoal yeast extract with L-cysteine, which is the best for your Legionella. It should contain alpha-ketoglutarate, polymyxin B, anisomycin, and either vancomycin or cefamadol, no, to limit contaminants. Colonies on your BCYE would be grayish white or blue green. It will be convex, glistening around 2 to 4 millimeters in diameters. Younger colonies appear to be ground glass, light gray and glandular. Sometimes with a pinkish periphery, no? Ang kanyang itsura. Ayan. So ground glass pag. Bata pa ang colony. Okay? Yeah, so this is the algorithm for your Legionella assay. So if you suspect for Legionellosis, you could either do culture using your BCYE, lower respiratory tract samples, or you could do urine antigen test, no? And then you could also use lower respiratory tract specimen through DFA. Okay? So if you're going to culture on BCYE, if there is no growth, then you can report that as negative. However, if there's growth on BCYE, do gram staining, so they should be gram negative rods. And then you can do further identification using DFA. Now, if you did urine antigen test at nag positive, that can be reported and confirmed with culture ulit. So mag-BCYE ka pa rin. And then kung nag-negative siya for urine antigen test or DFA, pwede ka mag-report. You can report the result, or if you want, you can do culture pa rin. So again, napaka-importante nga ng BCYE culture natin. So dapat mag-culture na lang. Okay? And then, to add on na lang yung urine antigen test. Okay? So that ends our lecture video for HASIC and associated organisms. Thank you for listening.